Good morning, or maybe it's good afternoon, or even good evening. Good whatever it is to all you beautiful people out there. My name is Brian Steele, and I have the privilege of being the pastor at St. Paul United Methodist Church in Bloomfield Hills and Hazel Park United Methodist Church. For these next two messages, today and this coming Tuesday, I want to talk about gender a bit. I'm going to share some on masculinity today and then femininity on Tuesday. So I want to look today at two individuals who play pivotal roles in the early part of our Christian story. This is all the way back in the book of Genesis, the first book of the Bible. We've got these two twin brothers, Jacob and Esau. And these two brothers are at each other's throats in the womb and throughout their lives. And what we see that even as twins, these two brothers are extraordinarily different. Esau is born with what's described as like this mass of red hair, and Jacob comes out more smooth, just trying to grip the heel of his brother. And we're told that as these two individuals get older, Esau was an outdoorsman who loved to hunt. And Jacob is what we might call indoorsy. He was quiet and just liked to be alone in the kitchen and cook. And their mom, Rebecca, loved Jacob a little more. But the father, Isaac, loved Esau more. Well, one day, after Esau comes back from hunting, he sees Jacob cooking and wants some of it, wants some of the food. And Jacob says, okay, but only if Esau gives him his birthright. Because Esau is the slightly older brother, he was going to have certain privileges in the future, and Jacob wanted those. So Jacob used Esau's hunger against him. And so what we're seeing is that these two brothers are in this constant competition. Very different men who can just never bring their relationship together. So what is God's vision for masculinity? That's a big old discussion, right? But I think God is showing us here, just within these two brothers, that there's no prescribed formula. Esau is this charismatic, outgoing extrovert, and Jacob is a more quiet, reflective introvert. And the sad part is, because there's nothing wrong with either of those two personalities or differences, the sad part is that instead of accepting themselves for who they were, they continually compete with each other. Competing, trying to prove their own worth. So maybe one of the keys to developing a healthier masculinity in our world is just by accepting ourselves for who we are. If a guy is like Esau and loves the great outdoors and wants to play sports 24/7, awesome. Go for it. And if a guy would prefer to stay home, read Harry Potter, or whatever else the kids may be reading these days, great, let's encourage that too. What if we could recognize that God creates men like both Jacob and Esau, and that maybe our cultural viewpoint of what a man should be is too limited for our creative God? Listen, friends, I'm a man. I love me some sports. I love watching football. In less than 2 weeks, I'm going to be yelling for my boy Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I love basketball. I love most sports. Well, guess what? I also love a quiet time reading books, and I grew up watching Dr. Phil with my mom. So what does that make me? I think it just makes me a human. And I'm okay with that. What if Esau and Jacob had accepted each other? And instead of trying to constantly undermine each other, took time to understand each other. we might very well have a different looking Bible if they had. God wouldn't have had such a mess to clean up if they had in this whole family line. Instead of competing with each other, Jacob and Esau could have learned from each other. Instead of focusing on who was more worthy or a better man, they could have had a more complete family because of their differences. What if in our own ministries in the church we made room for both Jacobs and Esau's? How would the church look different? Let's celebrate all of us. Let's give thanks to the Jacobs, the Esau's, and everybody in between. And maybe with a little more self-acceptance, the world can become more like God dreams it would be. So friends, that's it for today's 5-minute message. Remember, God loves you, and there's not a gosh darn thing you can do about it. We'll see you next week, friends. Go in peace.